Morning world, it's 10 a.m. on Thursday, the 28th of September 2023. It's a strange old world out there. A number of people, in my clients, my friends, and my close personal life, and in the online lives of the very few people whom I listen to and watch, there's a lot of people saying that there's some really weird energy around at the moment. What's going on, Steve? It's like there's a lot of darkness around, and I've been feeling it myself. It's like there's a sense of inertia, and it's almost as if there's a dark block, a web, just trying to stop anything from being positive. So I thought, okay, what's going on now? If you need I'm not going to rant too much about this. But there is I'm not going to say popular because it's not popular, but there is a television station in Britain, which is one of the new ones that has sprung up in the last few years. And the day before yesterday, it had a couple of journalists, young male journalists on there, discussing the attributes of a female reporter in language that has lowered the tone of journalism beyond anything I've ever heard. It's absolutely disgraceful. I'm not going to big up the television station by naming it, but anyone in Britain who follows the news will be aware of it. And as my friend Jonathan Cainer used to say, they make Adolf Hitler like a communist, or they're somewhere to the right of Genghis Khan. And they get an average viewing of 20,000 people per show, which is not very good. Anyway, I digress. There's a lot of, it's not just misogyny. I hesitate to use the word hatred, but there's a lot of vile, nasty, derogatory stuff going on out there in the world at the moment, and it's being aimed towards everyone and anyone who's seen as weak or inferior. And it's primarily old patriarchal attitudes that's driving it, regardless of individual gender. So what's going on astrologically? Well, I think that today is a really, really important day. The next 36 to 48 hours is critical, and particularly right now as I'm recording this video, with potentials that are then going to become much more real in a couple of weeks' time. So for those of you who are astrological students, look at the chart for today. You've got Mars at 21 degrees of Libra, Venus at 21 degrees of Leo, Mercury at 19 degrees of Virgo. So Mercury will be at 21 degrees of Virgo tomorrow, halfway between Venus and Mars. And then on the other side of the sky, you've got Chiron at 18 degrees of Aries, just retrograded from 19. You've got Uranus retrograding at 22 degrees of Taurus, about to head back into 21 in a few weeks' time. And right now, you've got the moon at 20 Pisces. So you've got Chiron halfway between the moon and Uranus. All of these 6 planets are all around 18, 19, 20, 21 degrees of their respective signs. So you've got Uranus squaring Venus, trine Mercury, in conjunct Mars. You've got Chiron, trine Venus, in conjunct Mercury, opposite Mars. And as I speak, we've got the moon in conjunct Venus, in conjunct Mars, and opposite Mercury. There's a lot of 3, 4, 5s. All of this adds up to a sense of irritation, frustration, impatience. It's the itch you can't scratch. It'd be very easy for people today, for example, to actually lash out, not because someone's upset them or because something's happened, but to lash out because they just can't cope with what they see as this build-up of pressure inside themselves. 2 weeks' time, there will be a total eclipse of the sun. It'll be a ring of fire because the moon will be further outside of its normal orbital pattern, so it won't be the same size as the sun. That's why we'll get the ring of fire. And that will be at 21 degrees of Libra. Where Mars is now, it will be in conjunct Uranus, opposite Chiron. And I just got this funny feeling that a lot of things that might happen around October the 14th, 13th, 14th, 15th, especially as Mars in the sky will be squaring Pluto at that time in the run-up to it, are going to be able to be traced back to yesterday, today, tomorrow. So please be aware that whatever you're doing today and tomorrow is sowing seeds, which could be quite difficult. Make sure if anything you're doing in the next 48 hours is done with a clean heart, a clean conscience, and that there's no kickback, because I think the things could suddenly snap back around that eclipse in 2 weeks' time. Yeah, and I know it's full moon, tomorrow? But this full moon is it's a placebo. It's gentle, this full moon, for most people, 95% of people, but there is something lurking behind it, and that's going to become more and more obvious as we get into mid-October and we get closer to that eclipse. So behave ethically. No, I can't say that, because that's who's to judge what your ethics are. But behave in the next 48 hours in ways that you're morally and ethically comfortable in yourself with, that make you feel that you're behaving according to your conscience. As Richard Bach said in his wonderful book for life, Illusions, your conscience is the measure of the honesty of your selfishness. Listen to it carefully. On that note, catch you later, world. Bye.